So, I mean, Nathan, you have had and still have an amazing career. How did you actually start? Where did you start playing bass? And
you know, I started in San Diego.
Yeah.
I was born in Philadelphia, but we moved to San Diego at an early age, and I had influences from Philly. But I picked up the bass actually in a church.
Oh, really?
In San Diego.
Yeah.
My brothers were involved playing. One played guitar and one was singing in the folk masses in San Diego. But when I picked the bass up, I immediately knew that this is just something I fell in love with. So from then I kind of started joining all the local bands there. Yeah. And one of our groups was heard by Barry White, so he hired the whole band to tour the country.
Wow, that's a good gig to get.
It's really good, especially when you're 16 years old and you're at the
Really?
Apollo Theater in Madison Square Garden.
That's trial by fire.
Exactly. And very, very good kind of starting ground in education, you know,
Yeah.
Barry White University. You know? And from there, I started recording with him on all his records.
Yeah.
Of course, that did nothing for the career because he didn't put the names of the musicians on the record because he didn't want anybody to steal his
But still,
sound.
through the grapevine, I guess.
Through the grapevine and musicians, I was able to get recommended for a lot of great sessions here in LA,
Yeah.
and found myself just working every day, you know, with miscellaneous people. I mean, Madonna, you know, I did her first record, Whitney Houston's first record. I started in all different areas too. Hubert Laws called me, so I started, you know, Patrice Rushen, Billy Cobham.
Yeah.
I started working in the jazz idiom. Kenny Loggins called me to go tour, so
Wow.
I went and toured with him. Then, you know, Phil Collins rang to do something in the studio with him. We wrote the song Easy Lover with Philip Bailey. He introduced me to Eric Clapton, and then he called, and next thing you know, we all were in a band together.
That's insane.
Playing Royal Albert Hall and traveling around the world, and I've been around the world now to Japan 60 times, and just about every corner. Later on, I met up with Bob James and at the recommendation of Harvey Mason and Lee Ritenour, and we formed the group Foreplay, and now we've been together for 20 years. And you know, been recording with all my favorite people. Anita Baker, which now I'm working as producer on her latest record. Just, you know, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, just
you know, everybody.
Stevie Wonder. You know,
it's almost easier to say who you didn't play with.
my heroes. Yeah, my friends used to. When I first came here, they used to call them and say, "Hey, here's a record Nate's on." Then now they say there's a record Nate's not on.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
so.
Did that feel like, you know, it just kind of washed over you, or has been like a natural progression of things? It
A little
sounded
bit of-
like it's like
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both. Just you know, even today, I think about the whole thing, and it's just, you know, I played with George Harrison. You know, did his last tour in Japan. You know, a Beatle. You know, and became friends, and you know, very good friends, close relationships with, you know, Eric Clapton and people like this are like brotherhood. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm forever grateful, and I'm continuing to try to, you know, to give as much to every situation that I can, and just continue to try to take my game up as high as possible. And I was really happy to discover these pedals, discover this gear, and always kind of searching for the next level.
So what, do you have any kind of advice to young people going, I'd like that kind of career?
Well, I do. Just number one is always, you know, try to take your game up, you know, and keep your eyes and ears open. I listen to everything, so I think it's good to just have a wide variety of styles and genres that you listen to and play, and just try to make as many connections as possible. And there's no one set, subscribe way to do anything in this business.
It's a little bit of the right place at the right time as well, I guess.
A little bit of that, but you know, certain things you have to do. Your equipment has to be in good shape. You know, show up on time and really bring your A game.
Yeah,
that's a given. If you
I guess personality is a big part of it as well. I mean, if you're gonna hang out on the road, on the studio for a long time,
people want to be able to get along with you. Yeah.
What about practice-wise? Did you used to, like, you know, practice incessively, or, you know?
Never crazy. Early days, whatever I was listening to that I liked, I would play along with records and practice a lot. But I was always gigging from an early age, so that means I was connected to the bass on a daily basis.
Yeah, so you just learned while playing, really.
Learned while I earned.
That's the best way to do it, I guess.
And the other thing is, you know, nowadays, you know, when there is passage that I, you know, need to work on or something a little more challenging, and then I'll sit in and try to work that out. But I never really sat in my room and tried to work something out that then I would come and play, you know.
It was the other way around.
Yeah.
What about songwriting? How did you get into that suddenly? Was that a natural progression? Or?
Naturally, yes. Again, I mean, I studied music in school and graduated from UCSD, University of California, San Diego. And so there was composition involved and studying the great composers and kind of learning about styles of writing. And so, you know, I started writing pretty much when I started playing and just figuring out, you know, now, you know, and as bass players, we're always writing bass lines.
Yeah.
You know, of course, I'll never forget going over to record with Philip Bailey, the Chinese Wall CD in London, and then we wrote the song Easy Lover in the studio, and that turned out to be a #1 song in the world. You know? And so I just remember hearing it on 3 radio stations at once. It was very exciting. Because it just ended up being, you know, such a big record. I was very proud that to have written that. Tears in Heaven was a very kind of personal song, and so I remember using a lot of chords on that record. You know. So, you know, of the records, those are a couple of the records I'm most proud to have played on. Yeah. For the group Foreplay, we each contribute at least 2 or 3 songs per CD. So, 12 CDs out now, and then most of the artists that I've played with, we've ended up writing together.
That's cool.
Collaborating. Yeah.
So what's your plans right now? Where are you heading off to? I guess you're going touring soon or something like
I'm
that?
heading to Europe right now with Foreplay.
Yeah.
And Foreplay's Bob James on keyboards, Harvey Mason on drums, now Chuck Loeb on guitar.
Not a bad little.
Not a bad little quartet, yeah. And our former guitarists are Larry Carlton and Lee Ritenour. So I mean, it's good company. And Toto has also asked me to sit in with them on many of their concerts. So we've been to Europe this year, and just came back from Japan. So you know, touring with a couple different bands now.
Sometimes I say, you know, thanks so much for doing this, and sometimes I say best of luck with the career. I guess that's kind of, you know, you're way over that right now.
No, thank you very much. I always appreciate it. And, you know, in music, you know, it's not like something we report to work every day and punch a clock. You know, so you know, it ends up being you end up creating your own fate.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having us here. It's been a pleasure.
It's great to have you here. Again, next time you're here, I'll have you come help me with some more sounds.
Oh.
Some more prints.
We'd love to.